Chris, thank you so much for joining me. Chris McDaniel is our sales team lead, newest member of our Alabama branch. So, Chris, could you just start off with just telling us a little bit about yourself and kind of your background?
Sure, sure. Well, first, it's great to be part of the Adams team. I'm excited to be here. So, so I'm a double E from University of Alabama. Uh, Thought I wanted to do. I was in power systems and really started liking PLCs. Jumped off into that and went into that world and landed in the IT department and ended up doing, but it made sense once I got in there, right? They needed me to collect data and do all this stuff. And so what was really cool about that, what I really learned about myself right out the gate was that, hey, I like to go, they give me a challenge, something I had no idea what I was doing. I broke a few things along the way, but we made it work. And I've been pretty much doing it ever since. And did that in the aluminum industry, then moved into the paper industry, which is where I stayed for the next about 15 years, different pulp and paper across Alabama. And then even in my previous role, when I moved into sales originally in 2018 and stayed heavy in pulp and paper across Alabama and Georgia. And I really enjoyed that part because I could really focus on helping with problems and issues without getting bogged down in just day-to-day things that happen at a plant. So it was really nice to be able to be a resource to people and to understand what they were going through day to day, but be able to help. And so that's kind of what drives me every day when I get phone calls. And so hoping to bring that here to Adams as well, although I see that culture is already here. I'm not bringing anything new here. Everybody I've worked with is, jump in, help, let's get things done. Let's help our customers. Let's find solutions. We're not worried about, we're not selling product necessarily. We're trying to help solve problems, find solutions. So now here I am with Adams, expanding on what I've been doing for the last 20 or so years.
And you partially already answered my follow-up question, but I was going to ask, is it Roll Tide or War Eagle? But I'm pretty sure you've already alluded to where your allegiance falls.
Yeah. So, my alma mater's University of Alabama, graduated from there. And, but ironically enough, I live in Opelika, just outside of Auburn. So yeah, I go to Auburn basketball games and
Okay.
See some Auburn sports. I see a lot more Auburn sports, honestly, than I do Alabama. Although with my schedule, I don't see a lot of either of them, honestly.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's when we first started going up to Alabama, it was crazy the amount of times I would be asked that question. And I'm from Florida, so I'm like, dude, I have no allegiance.
Yeah,
But we would just be
right.
talking to somebody, and they're just like, so I'm like, I don't know. I guess what are you? What do you guys think? So it's just so interesting to see how big of a deal that really is up there. But before we get too deep, I do not want to. I don't want to miss out on your background because I did notice that you have quite a bit of instruments back there, and I'm pretty sure because I just Googled this. GP38 is a band, and you're the lead vocalist. Is the internet telling the truth here? And if so, please expand because this is awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. So the secret's coming out. No, it's not a secret, but yeah, we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. We're excited about that. The core group of guys that have been together. GP38 started actually when I was in college. The name GP38's been around for a long time, but this group, after I moved to Auburn and we got it started, we've been together a little over 10 years. And so we play, 75 to 100 shows a year. We stay pretty busy. Again, why I don't get to watch a lot of sports. So, once I, finish up with the day job on Friday afternoon, I'm normally headed somewhere and trying to, play some country music and definitely wearing a different hat. I should have had a hat in here, and I almost thought about it, but I didn't. But yeah, so that's why all the guitars on the wall back here. That was one of the things when we built this house. I wanted to have that incorporated. In particular, this acoustic that you see right here, that's my dad's J-50 Gibson from
Oh, wow.
1968. And so I keep it hanging there. He played it for a lot of years as I grew up listening to him play. And then we kind of slowly transitioned until I became the one playing. So, yep, definitely. If you haven't already, check out facebook.com/GP38music. That's our Facebook page. And you can also find us on YouTube and what have you.
That is so awesome. When's your next show?
Tonight.
Where at? Hopefully local.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It's local tonight. Tonight will be at the VFW in Catala. Tomorrow night will be at a place called The Loft in downtown Columbus, Georgia. Next Saturday, we'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the city of Smith Station. And we'll be doing their 250th celebration as well. It's kind of their anniversary, city anniversary, plus the 250th anniversary of our country celebration. We'll be doing that for them next Saturday. So it's summertime. The schedule's pretty full currently.
Yeah, I bet. And it's interesting because you wouldn't think about it, but the fact that you are a musician, right? There's a certain amount of creativity that comes with that, right? With playing instruments, with writing songs, or even covering songs. That I imagine that same type of creativity is what draws you to this type of role. Here kind of at Adams, because you can walk into a plant and who knows what you're walking into or how you might solve their problem. So could you just talk a little bit about how the creativity plays into your job in the reliability and automation space, specifically here with someone like Adams, where we have such a spectrum of solutions that we could offer a customer?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, whether it's the creativity aspect of it or whether it's just your mindset, anyhow, it's just when you go and you see an issue and you start trying to look for ways to solve it. Well, there are different ways of solving it, right? And this is one thing I try to keep in mind. So do I just need to keep you running through the night right now? Or are we looking for the best solution that's going to, improve, that's got some sort of ROI to it, or we're trying to improve reliability over a long term? These are different answers, right? And again, that goes back to just kind of the way I was brought up and things. My dad was a diesel mechanic on top of playing music on the weekends as well. And, but people would call him all the time and, hey, man, I've got my truck. I need to get this load to wherever. I don't have time to fix all this today, but I need to get it through. So sometimes you get those calls, right? And then other times you get the calls where it's like, we're trying to improve reliability and we need to improve the bottom line over the next year. So looking at those just from different angles is a big part of it. And it's the same way, the way we attack it when we hit the stage. So we make set lists, we write out shows, but they're basically just for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
I read the crowd as we go, call audibles throughout the entire performance, and tune it in to the specific crowd. And it's the same way, going to a customer, going and tuning in to what the actual need is. What do we actually need to get done for these folks? What are we trying to accomplish? So I think it all plays together kind of well there.
Yep,
plus,
absolutely.
It ends up a lot of my customers also like country music. So that
helps. That helps. It's like, so what are you guys doing this weekend? Do you also want to come check out the show?
That's right.
Because we can continue this conversation afterwards.
There you go. That's right.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So I know that you've spent, is it your whole life? Were you born and raised in Alabama?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was born and raised up North Alabama, just south of Muscle Shoals, hit recording capital of the world, actually. If you haven't dug into that, look into that as well. But yeah, I grew up in Russellville, about 20 miles south of Muscle Shoals, and went to Alabama and then went back to Muscle Shoals for my first real job.
Mm-hmm.
And then moved to Auburn in 2014 and been here ever since.
So one question that I have, because I know it's not the same, because most of our experiences in the Florida or Caribbean market, and recently over the past 4 or 5 years we expanded to Alabama, but it's not the same. So can you just take a second and just kind of explain not just the market dynamics, but also a little bit about the social dynamics too, because I know that it's just a little bit different. And I mean, the time I spent up there, I really enjoyed it, but it's definitely not the same as Tampa. So could you just talk a little bit about the manufacturing scene, and then also just a little bit about, what it's like up there?
Yeah. I haven't spent as much time in the other areas, so it's hard for me to compare. But I can tell you what I have learned, again, from me being in the mill and having folks calling on me and supporting me, things that were important to me. I can remember when I was at the paper mill and we had a motor failure on the paper machine. I got called out to the mill at about midnight one night. The guy from the motor repair company, I called him on the way to the mill. He said, "All right, man, I'll meet you there." He showed up. He had coffee. He stayed with me all night. We worked through it. That was always in my mind moving forward. You know what I mean? That was a big deal. He was invested with me. I try to be the same way with my customers. I don't want to just sit in your office and waste time chatting with you all day, but at the same time, I want you to know I'm there to be with you, to work through issues. And when you need to call somebody to dig through things. So another thing that a customer told me after I moved into sales, he was pretty transparent about it. "Hey man, I don't buy from salesman X because he only shows up here about once every 6 months."
Yeah.
Or, "Hey, I can't even tell you who my rep is for product X." So I try to make sure my customers see me. They know who I am. They can call me. They can get in touch with me. They can text me. Try to, it's relationship. And I know there are things about relational selling that, there are pros and cons to things, but I'm not sure how it is everywhere else. But in Alabama, we like to know who we're buying from.
That is absolutely, just from running the Tech Fest events in Alabama. At first, it was tough because people didn't know who we were. They didn't know who we were, so they didn't trust us initially. Like, wait, who are you guys? And what are you asking me to do? You asking me to come somewhere, leave the plant and go to an event, and take, 3 or 4 hours out of my day. So at first, when we threw our first one, we probably had like 80 or 100 people there. But a lot of the comments I would get back from the emails are like, "No, we don't go to those types of things with people that we don't know." So
No.
it was very interesting. And then even when the guys showed up, I mean, they were, great, hardworking guys, but they were super transparent. Like, "No, we buy from these people because we know these people, we trust these people, we know they're going to show up." And that's when we knew we would have our work cut out for us. But with people like you and with Jordan up there as well, and Paul spending time like building those relationships, now we're in the mix for those phone calls. And I mean, the last Tech Fest event, we had probably 250 people, which is great, and it just shows that you have to put the time in to build the relationship, specifically up there. I think that is one thing that, from a marketing standpoint, that they don't really care what I'm doing on LinkedIn. They want to know who the person is that's gonna, if they have an issue, who's gonna come out, and can they trust that person? They don't care if I posted a really cool meme on LinkedIn, right? They want to build that relationship with someone. So I do think that is something that we've seen as well. It's interesting that you bring that up because, it does seem like the relationship is even more important up there than I feel like down here. That's something that customers really hold dear.
Yeah. So a term that I learned over my career in sales so far is trusted advisor. And to me, it really resonates. And it really hits home because being a trusted advisor, means you're trusted technically, you're trusted that you can be called upon, and you're trusted that you're going to be there and try to come through when you're needed. So it's a really big, all encompassing term that I try to embrace every day, and I definitely want our team focused on for sure.
Can you, talking about advisor, right? And this is a switch that we made several years ago where we switched the outside territories team's titles to, reliability and automation consultants, right? Because we do want them to be in more of an advisory role, right? They're not outside salespeople. That is not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to move widgets. Like you said earlier, we're not selling parts, right? We're selling solutions to people. Can you just talk about, on the one hand, let's say a customer that you used to work with in any of your previous roles, and now you show up and you've got an Adams shirt on.
Yep.
How would you kind of describe what Adams does for manufacturers in Alabama? How are you describing what they do when they say, "Oh, well, tell me about that company"? Maybe they hadn't heard of us yet, right? How are you describing us to them so that they understand the value that we could provide in the event there's a need?
Yeah. So I have had that conversation quite a bit.
I bet.
Uh, yeah, and there have been some surprise looked on people's faces, but at the same time, most everybody has been very welcoming as I have came back to some of those customers, and now some of them are doing business with Adams, and so first of all, I try to explain to them that the change was a very agreeable change across the board. My previous company was a great company for me for years, and all good things to say there. But as far as trying to tell them about Adams, because you're right, a lot of people that I've talked to don't know the name. They don't even know what we do. So it's a big discussion, and just trying to let them know right off the bat that, hey, we're here for reliability improvement. We're here for automation. We're here for vision. Anything from hydraulic to pneumatic to sensors to, again, to vision. It's a big portfolio, and we can do it anywhere from selling you hardware to getting a startup phase where we build it for you and send it to you and then you put it in, or hey, we're on site, we're helping you fully commission. And so there've been a lot of folks that are very interested in that and excited about that opportunity.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I know that it is. I mean, but every time I look at the line card, I'm like, there's a lot that we could do. But what it really boils down to is we're really trying to help people just stay as, competitive in the marketplace as they possibly can, increase productivity, right? Increase quality. And like you said, that could be a camera, that could be a valve, that could be a sensor, it could be a robot. So I imagine those conversations are a little bit more maybe dynamic than they used to be. One thing I'd be interested to hear is when you were coming on to Adams and you started to learn about the products, about the different factories that we work for, was there anything that stood out to you that either you didn't know was a thing or hadn't seen, or technology that you hadn't seen that you think you're like, man, that is pretty cool. That is definitely something that I want to reach out to these customers and say, hey, you got to check this out. The thing that always stood out to me that I just thought was cool was I just really like gravitated towards like Perma and the automated lubrication stuff. I just thought that was super neat. But is there anything that resonated with you when you started to learn more about our product portfolio and the factories we work with?
Yeah. So for sure, Perma resonated with me as well. Being a previous, reliability engineer in the paper mill and being able to see the dashboard and everything at almost every customer visit, almost. Now that I have the Perma app on my phone,
Yeah.
I pull that out and show that, like, look how easy it is. I can see all of these. I can see a picture of it in the field. I can show a guy, hey, go check this one. Go look at this. I show that almost every day.
That's awesome.
Man, that is game changing. But then on top of that, when I start seeing things that we can do, coupling like Cognex vision with the precision of a Mac valve, like a bullet valve, sorting rice. Come on. I mean, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
I mean, Those things right there. Yeah. I talk about that a good bit. I mean, there's a lot of technology going in here, and one of the things, it's not directly related to your question necessarily, but I think it's super cool. Again, previously I was really focused in pulp and paper, and there'll always be a special place for pulp and paper for me. It's just been a big part of my life. But seeing all of the different industry and the different technology that we have across the state of Alabama and the panhandle of Florida, it's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing just what's so close to my house here in Opelika, Alabama is mind blowing. The technology that our customers are already using and the way we're able to jump on board and help them with that, it's great. I don't think people are aware of, I know I was not, even though I'm out here in it every day. I was not aware of how much was so close going on right around here. Everything from paint cans to robots to
Yeah.
rolls of paper, it's a lot, and it's happening right here.
Yeah. It definitely seems like there's a strong investment, and I also feel like support too. I feel like the state of Alabama is pulling for manufacturers in Alabama, which I don't think is always the case in every state. But I do get the sense of, from the events that we've done up there, the time that we've spent up there, the different organizations that we've talked to, it seems like everyone is pro manufacturing. They want to continue to build that, continue to make it easier for businesses to do more business up there. So it is very I feel like that's very reassuring. But to your point, when we were looking at building out kind of the invite or the target list for TechFest, I'm looking at some of these plants. I'm like, how many people work there? Like, I'm looking at the aerial. I'm like, that whole thing. What are they building? They're building steel pipe in there. That's what, 500 feet long. I mean, it's just it is just insane. And then to have the guys come in, to the event and be able to talk to them and just understand, like, I've never been in a facility like that, but I couldn't imagine the magnitude of something like that. And to be able to go in there and be like, well, yeah, we think we could help you. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in there.
Yeah, for sure. Man, you just touched on something though. You know what I think we need to do? I think we need to get you in a plant. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I probably do. I'd probably bring a camera. Actually, speaking of pulp and paper, I have been to a paper mill before. I think it was a paper mill, international paper here in Tampa. I went there several years ago, and we were doing an urban install or just an overview. So I was there a couple times, and we recorded it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just the size of the equipment and the magnitude of the work that is being done is just like, wow, that's amazing. And a lot of our plants down here are small compared to what you guys have up there. I mean, it's like, you can't even see the whole building. Like, it's just crazy.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh yeah. Big footprints. 1,000+ people per facility is not unusual. Yeah. I mean, and so that's why when they come or when they go, it's game changing to communities, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's game changing to people like us here at Adams, right? So it's huge for us, for them to succeed.
Absolutely. Yeah. So and I think that one thing that is interesting, especially for someone who has dynamic background like yours, if you have a customer, let's say maybe you don't have a relationship with them, but they reach out to you and they're interested in, automation, right? They keep hearing about it. Maybe their CEO's like, hey, we really need to look at automation. How would you start to have those types of conversation? I mean, pick any industry that you'd want to, or that you want to, kind of anchor that to. But if they're really starting to think about automation and they want to see how they should start planning for that or thinking about that or evaluating their current processes, like, how are you having that conversation with someone?
So, just yesterday, talking with some folks at a plant here local to me, and they've got some things that they're wanting to automate. So first thing, we're just having a conversation about what are the issues that they're seeing, what are the improvements they want, where are you at now, what are the goals?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's kind of start penciling that in, build us up some framework. Let's go take a look at it. If there's drawings, if there's pictures, and then the thing that I always try to let our customers know, and the thing that I rely on day to day, is that the Adams team has a lot of depth. So, I'm the new guy, been here 3 months now, right? So I can read the line card, even though every now and then even a customer will surprise me with a product. I'm like, oh yeah, forgot that was on the line card.
Yeah. Yep, that one too.
Because there is a
lot. It's on the back.
Yeah, there's a lot. But at any rate, even with that, going back with folks and letting them know, hey, behind me, there is a team. There's guys that specialize in fluid power and valves and actuation, in vision, in safety, in sensors. All these people that let's identify which team members we need, pull them together. Now let's all get to talking. And that's kind of how I'm attacking it right now. And so far, it seems to be customers seem to enjoy that, and it works well on our side as well.
And I think that is something that is unique about us, like specifically like our engineering team, right? We have a full engineering team. Like, we have, 7, 8 engineers from, mechanical to vision to controls. We have programmers. Like, if you need help on the engineering side of things, we can act as an extension of your engineering team. To your point earlier, if you want a turnkey solution, depending on what it is, we could probably build it for you. If you need a camera and you need it programmed, we could probably do that. So for someone like you coming into a plant that is, 1,000 employees deep, the spectrum of things that you might be able to help with as one person is fairly limited. But, you have a vision application, we'll get Daniel Koziel in here. Oh, you have a sensor application, we'll grab Ali. Oh, you want to look at a turnkey solution, let's grab Jeff, right? You need something on the fluid power side of things, let me call Travis. I just think that the ability for you to, like you said, you access that depth and bring in and have a follow-up conversation where this person is 100% an expert on Cognex. They're 100% an expert on 6 sensors. They're 100% an expert in, fluid power. And then being able to have that conversation with a customer, to your point earlier about trust, right? I imagine that goes a long way. Like, you know what? I mean, Chris got me with the person, and now we're having a super, super technical, nuanced conversation about something with someone who is an expert in their field. And then all the more reason that they would trust the solution that we would recommend.
Sure. Absolutely. That's exactly it. I mean, and having that team behind you, a good team, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about with the band earlier, right? 10 years,
literally
10 years. And really, I tell them all the time, because they're like, man, it's just so great that we're able to do this or do that or whatever. And I'm like, guys, it's because of you. You guys build a platform that I can ride on every weekend. They keep the bass, the drums, everything is solid to where then when I step up to play a solo or I step up to sing the first verse, I know it's there and I can count on it. And it's the same way here with, hey, when we step up to a vision application and I call Daniel, I know he's got me.
Yep.
And it doesn't take long after he opens his mouth for customers to see that too.
Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. And then he's like, you want me to show you? Here, let me just program it right here in front of you. It's like,
yeah, I'll just do this.
Okay, right, give that guy a bogan arm and a power supply and he's dangerous.
And then we're sitting here like,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, you did that in 15 minutes? Good God.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy. Yeah. It's super awesome. And I think that the interesting thing too, to your point is, as you are, I know you said you're only 3 months in, but as you are, uncovering new applications, uncovering new plants, even, you can go in there and, drop them the line card, sure, right? And it is 4 pages technically. I mean, 2 pages, but bifold. But there's a lot of stuff in there. But more so than anything, you can leave them with the sense that if you've got a problem, we've got a team that could help you solve it. Right? You're 1 or 2 phone calls or emails away from getting an expert on the phone on a Teams meeting to review your application, whether it's a robotic application or a filter issue or, a pneumatic application or a sensor. Like, the ability to have one point of contact in you that opens the door to, 20 different resources that are all specialists in different areas. I mean, that to me is a really compelling, reason for, some of these new businesses that maybe don't know us, right? To at least give us a shot. Give us a shot at your next problem, right? Let us take a look at it and see how we might be able to approach it maybe differently than the incumbent.
Sure. That's right. I mean, my role where I see it, I mean, again, I'm kind of supporting the whole team, bringing opportunities, right? And trying to connect the dots between customers and these experts that you're talking about. But, I learned early on when I was working for International Paper in my first management role, one of the big things they said, one of the guys that really resonated with me, he said, your job is to remove roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
Remove roadblocks so that the rest of the crew can do what they need to do. So I still keep that in mind all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to remove these roadblocks. I got to connect the dots. Let me get these people together. Then everything will just flow. So that's what I focus on trying to do every day.
Yeah, and I think that is a great approach. And I know that you are already making a huge impact up there in Alabama. I hear nothing but good things. And now to know that there's also, Chris McDaniel, lead vocalist. I can't wait to go down that YouTube rabbit hole. But I did just want to say thanks for joining us. And this was your idea, right? You wanted to get on here. You wanted to say, hey, you know what? Let me do a little introduction to Alabama. And I think that makes a ton of sense. I think that just speaks to the fact that you are here to make an impact and you want to help manufacturers in Alabama increase, their reliability and automation. And I just think that you're going to do great things up there, and we're super excited to have you. Is there anything that you want to leave any of those Alabama manufacturers with before we sign off here?
Again, I'm excited to be here and excited that Adam's invited me to join the team. As far as manufacturing in Alabama, one thing, again, this was my idea to an extent. Paul also helped me with it as well, kind of helped me shape it there. And so appreciate Paul on that. And we've got a lot of automotive manufacturing here in Alabama, right? And just a lot of manufacturing in general, a lot of things going on. One thing, again, going back to what I've said earlier, drawing on experience from the past. We've talked about, Chris, the sales guy, Chris, the lead singer guy. The other piece of it, where any little bit of time I have left over that's not spent with my family, it goes into building old classic cars. So
like what?
I'd have been remiss if I didn't mention it, but my wife and I are both car people. It's a dangerous combination because she's not the typical wife that'll tell me, no, you can't buy that car. She'll be like, yes, we probably need that car too.
She's like, can we go today?
Can we make it go faster? That's her only thing. So spend a lot of time. And so that's another good connecting point too with a lot of my customers, because a lot of folks around here, there's a lot of car folks. If you're not Alabama, if you're not Auburn, you're probably Chevrolet or Ford or maybe even a Mopar guy.
So do we care to ask which badge is there a sticker somewhere that I have missed? Are we seeing an emblem somewhere? Are we a Chevy guy, Mopar, Ford? What do we have in the garage that's somewhere? The next episode we're doing can't be back in this room. It's got to be somewhere. Hopefully there's internet with cars behind you.
There he is. Yeah, the next one maybe we can do in the shop and show you some current projects going on there. That would be a lot of fun. But if somebody asks, I'm probably going to say I'm a bow tie guy.
Yeah.
Been a Chevrolet guy for a lot of years. But, hey, we're equal opportunity here, man. We've got a Ford in the garage. We've got a Porsche in the garage. I drive a Ram every day. Not to mention the Chevrolets. We've even got a Manta. Ask me about that on the next episode.
Oh, wow.
And we can talk about what that even means.
So you said you had a Ford. What is the Ford?
It's a Bronco.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what?
That's my
you got a
wife's
Porsche?
baby. Yep. And the Boxster, that's also my wife's.
Okay.
That's her not daily when she doesn't need to shuttle kids, and it's just going to
Okay.
be her. Yep.
I mean, I tell you what, you might be the most dynamic guest I've had so far. I wasn't planning on making a trip to Alabama, but I might just need to. I might need to bring all my camera stuff too.
I think you should. Hey, one more thing before we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Just for you guys.
I think the only thing we're missing is, do those guitars work? I mean,
Yeah, they do work. They do work.
Okay, we just might need to, I think that could be the next viral LinkedIn post is Chris McDaniel doing a cover song of, I don't even care, whatever you want to sing. But that is awesome. I do think that the fact that you have all of these varying interests is what makes it, to me, such an exciting spot where there are so many different ways you can help a customer. And I feel like, music, or whether you connect with them via music, whether you connect with them about old cars, just the fact that you can build those relationships, and then we can turn around and help these same individuals, not at the car show, not, at the loft, but in their plant.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's ultimately what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to build relationships and help people.
And that's why I mention it, because all these cars we build these projects, we're doing it. You know what I mean? It's not just talking to you about it. We've been there, we've done that. We've got some experience behind it. And to me, in the plant, that mattered. Hearing from somebody that actually knows how this goes together, or has actually worked on this valve before, or has, it means a lot. We can't all have experience in everything, but bringing that experience and connecting the dots from the industries in the state, I think is an important piece of what we do.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that one thing we've definitely done is we've set the expectation that there will need to be a episode 2 of,
there we go.
The most interesting man in Alabama, Chris McDaniel.
We teed that up nicely, didn't we?
I know we did. It was all part of our plan that we did not rehearse before we started doing this.
Exactly.
No, but I do really appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you're doing in Alabama. Everyone does. Doug, Paul, the whole leadership team just has nothing but good things to say about you. So we're really excited to see how the second half of the year goes with you really being able to get things moving up there in Alabama. So we appreciate your time and best of luck this weekend and at the other, dozens of shows that you're probably going to play over the summer, because it sounds like you guys are pretty booked up. But we really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate.